here. We're here every Thursday at 4 p.m. And sometimes, sometimes our guests, they have these busy schedules. So we have to, you know, accommodate them, and we may come on a Tuesday. So it's important that you're always watching our social media and making sure that, you know, we're live and what events that we have coming up. I'm just so pleased with the amount of support that we have gained throughout this time. It's priceless when you think about the relationships. You know, a lot of times we see people from afar and we're like, wow, I wonder how they got there. What's their story? And so the fact that we have connected with those same people is just amazing, and such a blessing. We definitely don't take that for granted at all. We have a special guest. And so we're not going to, you know, put her on blast just yet, but we do have a special guest today, who you don't want to miss. So you need to make sure that you're sharing these videos. When you see that we're up live, share the video, because it's about our community growing, and we can't grow if we're only keeping the information to ourselves. So if you're only sharing it with your 5 friends instead of sharing it with your friends so they can share it with their friends, we're not really doing the show any justice, and we're not helping our community by sharing the good news. So my name is Dr. Sherelle Hobson. I'm one of the hosts here on the B.L.A.C.K podcast. I'm a student athlete resilience coach, as well as a student athletic program enthusiast. And I really am passionate about helping coaches create a safe and productive environment for their athletes. And through that, I help them to increase their matriculation by 90%. So not only just getting them there to do sports and use them up, but making sure that if they go to college or whatever future endeavors that they may have, that they can now be productive moving forward from athletics or whatever else that they have going on in their lives. I'm an author of 2 books, Discovering Beauty and Brokenness, Seams of Gold, as well as Unleashing Your Full Potential. And with both of those, I really help people to acknowledge the space that they're really in. You know, naturally, as Black people, we're just busy, we're resilient, so we don't really know that we're in dark places until we're in that dark space. And then we realize, oh my God, like I have a lot going on. And so I really helped, provide those tools so that when you're reading it, you can also identify what space that you're in so that you can live your best life and live through your full potential. So as many of you know, I'm very passionate about our Black community and being very productive in the work that I do. So I'm always excited to partner up with Mr. Streak here, my partner on the B.L.A.C.K podcast.
Well, that's kind of difficult to follow, but I'll attempt. Guys, what you see in front of you right now is something that I've been desiring to be a part of for the longest, being able to bring to you individuals across the spectrum in our community. We have individuals from professional athletes to entrepreneurs to philanthropists, all in the middle and across the scale. And there's so much of what we see in media today that only portrays a certain type of us in the Black community. So we really wanted to be able to do this to really show the greatness that we have across the spectrum of various different industries. My name is Brian Street, as you all should know, founder CEO of Your Legacy Begins Now, a company that I started a few years ago because I really wanted to let people understand that it doesn't matter what happened in the past coming up, what your last name was known for, because you can start to get to know some of the people, start to put the right information into your head, and surround yourself with the networks that's going to allow you to start living your life of purpose today, because your legacy begins now. I have a really big focus right now on so much of everything that I'm doing to draw in a focus to the necessity of understanding and practicing group economics within our community to really keep the dollar in our community for a longer period of time so that we can gain more ownership. We can actually accumulate wealth and not just have it cycle through. For those of you who have been connected with us a little bit, you should have read in our most recent newsletter how we really differentiate income and actual wealth. It doesn't matter if you make a whole bunch of money, if you're not putting it in the right places, not bringing it back into our community, that's no power there. So we're just so honored to have our guest that we have before us today. This She's phenomenal. I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
You.
I'm ready to hear all the goods, and I hit the gym twice today, so maybe you'll be proud of me because you'll be in there killing it. Without further ado, we got Miss Phelps. Talk to us. How's it going?
Hello, how are y'all? I'm good.
So
Just been
good.
busy this morning.
Thank you for just accepting the invite. I know that you're very busy. And so we are just always honored to have women like you, just in our presence and also on the show, because you have such a story that I'm not sure everyone knows about. We just six packs, in the, we're just like, okay, so like, what else you got going on? I mean, I ain't got the six pack yet, but you're such an interesting woman. And so I want the audience to know more about you. So let's start from the beginning. Who you are, where you from, and let us know a little bit about your dynamics of your family, like how you grew up and all that.
Okay.
Good stuff.
I was actually born in Manhattan, Kansas. My dad was an Army brat. So him and my mom met in Kansas. I actually grew up mainly in Fayetteville, Tennessee. So I was raised very, very country. I have 3 brothers. I'm the only girl. So I'm very much of a tomboy. Basketball was my first love. So I started playing basketball 2nd grade. I did gymnastics for like 5 years. So that's where my flexibility stretching comes in. But basketball at a young age, I sucked. I could not play. And then just worked on that, and slowly it became my love. But I grew up in Fayetteville. It's a really, really small town. Not much there. You either play ball, get out, or you stay. It's not much there. So basketball was my outlet for everything. Mad, sad, wanting to get out of college. That was my way to get to college. I was the first to go to college in my family. I was the first to graduate. So my 2 older brothers, they had a lot of influence on my life because they would get in trouble. So I was like, this is what I'm not going to do. And then my younger brother, he's younger than me. All my family's in Tennessee. So I'm the only one in Houston right now besides 2 cousins. But yeah, I just grew up very tough mindset. Grew up like a little boy, really, kind of. I'm not really girly at all. Like, if you see me, I'm always in workout clothes. I'm a country girl at heart.
So when we talk about like, how you grew up with your brothers and just, all the things that you have going on, what made you like start to take it serious, I guess, when you started to play and you realized, so you started off very young playing basketball, and then was there any other sports that you discovered? Did anybody tell you like, hey, you should try out for the middle school team? Like, how was that transition for you when you're like, I really want to try out, like, because I think I can play? So even though you started off not being that good.
Right. So we moved to Kansas. I was about to start 5th grade, and they took sports like a little different growing up in middle school and stuff. So I was at YMCA, and like YMCA league, they took it very seriously. Like, so I was actually training then with a trainer. I would go on certain days and train, and I was always around this one girl. She was older than me. And I was like, man, I really like it. Like, I loved basketball, but my brothers always played sports. So I didn't really do anything else but basketball. I didn't play volleyball. I didn't do track. I was always basketball. So around when we moved back to Tennessee, my 7th grade. So I did 7th grade to high school in Tennessee. 7th grade, my coach, Coach Shallow in middle school, our middle school team was good. Like 7th, 8th, and 9th was always good. We did plays from like Florida because he loved the Gators. So like we were really serious. I say about 7th grade because that's when I started playing AAU. My AAU coach was my high school coach. So when I got around him, that's when I really got into the game, going to camps. So 7th grade was really I started taking it serious. I believe.
Now I, country boy, born in South Mississippi.
Okay.
Basketball was my first. Say again, super country. Yes. Literally from the time I could hold the ball, I was holding one. My mom and dad were always playing basketball. We'd have the whole community in our yard, backyard basketball in the dirt, go in at nighttime, your lungs full of dust. That was my whole childhood. Yeah. And one of the things, I wouldn't say I sucked, but I was never like one of the best players on the team. And my mom would say often, "You suck," because I remember being at the free throw line in the middle of a game and I'll miss a free throw. Yeah. And she's like, "Boy, you ain't no son of mine. You so sorry." So like, and you know, that really helped me focus in on, okay, yes, I love basketball, but is there something else out there, that I'm a little bit better at? So, just in speaking on that, what was your relationship with your parents like? Were they like push? Was it the coaches, or was it like the parents that were like, "Look, you need to really pay attention to my child"? Because we had some really good players on our team, but we never got exposure to like AAU and things along those lines. So like, where did your primary push come from?
My parents weren't pushy like that. They were just, if you're gonna play, you're gonna play. You're gonna do what you need to do. You're not gonna half-ass it. But they never forced me to do basketball. I wanted to always be better myself, and I had coaches in my life that actually put me in the right position to better myself. But I always wanted to do better for myself. So I didn't need anyone to be like, "You need to do this, this, and this." I kind of already had that. Now I would ask questions, or I would like, okay, if I need to do this, how do I need to do this? So I always had my own self-motivation. And then just being in my town and just seeing like, always wanted more for myself. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do to get more? So my parents were always involved. My parents are still married. So I was blessed to have both my parents in the same household. So both of my parents played sports. My mom did basketball and softball. My dad did basketball. Okay. So I never, and my grandparents play, like my whole family is pretty much athletic. So I didn't really have them like, "Oh, you need to do this or you can't do this." I always got good grades. I had to get good grades, stay out of trouble, play ball. That was my rule. Like, that was the rules.
Yeah. It was the same here. And I'm thinking, just looking at coming from small towns, like there weren't a lot of examples of what the next level looked like. I mean, I had a couple cousins that made it to the next level in football, but just seeing that you had the drive within yourself. Plus, like you just mentioned, you knew, okay, this is potentially like a ticket out. Like this is how I can make it. And I don't know, when I was younger, my dad, he actually wanted me to stay with baseball, but I kind of fell out of love with it and I switched over to basketball, and it was football that actually, picked it up for me. But, I just kind of wanted to see that you come from a small town, like how was that path actually set up for you? That's kind of what I was alluding to.
I didn't really get to play like real like AAU high school seen by coaches till 10th grade, because our 9th grade when I was in school was still in junior high. So I didn't play high school ball till 10th grade.
Okay.
So now it's changed 9th grade and high school. Yeah. So we got kind of cheated out of a year.
Yeah.
In high school.
Yeah. I remember when I first started doing sports, it was like, you had to play basketball. That was a sport, right? That was like, you're going to play basketball. My family was the same like you. I was also blessed to have my parents married and, grow up with both my parents. And they were like yours. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. And you're going to do it 100% because you ain't got nothing else to do. So you need to be in something. So I started to play basketball and I didn't suck, but I also realized it wasn't my gift, right? I knew that I was so competitive. I knew I was going to do whatever it took to win. So if that means I need to pass it, we had a girl named Naka on my team. It's like Naka didn't play no defense at all, right? But she can shoot the rock, right? So it was like, I can't shoot the rock, but I can get this ball to you. So I knew what my job was. Yeah. And whenever I had my moment of where it was like, oh, I'm about to do a fast break, I'm about to make this shot, my parents would be looking like, please don't shoot. But from that experience, I mean, it was just always being competitive. And so I realized, oh my God, I'm really too fast for basketball and I'm too short. So
Yeah.
I started doing track. And so that's when I realized, oh my God, I can go to school, doing this. So I want you to touch on two things. Okay. The first thing I want you to touch on is when we talk about like the level of competition, and you realize that you were ready to take it to that next level. Like when you got to high school and you were like, oh shit, I can probably go to school for free. You know what I'm saying? So the conversation with education in your house, talk about a little bit about how that, since you were like the first one to really take it serious and want to go further. And then I also want to know, because I feel like, especially as Black women, we have this thing with each other, right? Where, and I think we've talked about that before, where, you too cute, she thinks she's too cute, and so I know for myself, I experienced a lot of, what I'm saying, like a lot of hate from other women or other girls because you're light skinned or you're mixed or I'm not mixed, but I'm just saying, like, people always wanted to like find certain reasons. So I want you to talk about one, the conversation in your family when it came to education, since you were the first one to kind of take that step. Like, what was that conversation? And then I also want to know about, did you ever experience any of those, self-identity or any of those type of situational challenges growing up? Because there's a lot of girls that do.
Yeah. So my parents did not play that. It was A's and B's. If you got a C, you better see them A's and B's going up. So I was always as soon as you get home, you got to do homework before you do anything else. So I had to get A's and B's. It was Teresa and Reggie don't play that. So I had to make sure my grades were up, but my coaches didn't play that either. So it wasn't that, oh, you failing, you could still play. Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to do well with myself because I'm like, well, if I can't do basketball, I know I can always have academics. Because my younger brother went to school on a full ride on academics. So I'm pretty good with my academics. I always made sure I had A's and B's. I might have stressed out before tests, but that's just because I don't like tests. But I always made sure my grades were up. And if I had questions with the teachers, I just had questions. So academics, I was good on. Now the self-identity and all of that was more of a struggle because I'm Black and white. And then the town I live in grew up in, isn't friendly on certain things, even though it's a new era in town. But that's another story. Either I wasn't Black enough or I wasn't white enough. So being mixed is hard, especially going up in the South. And my household is Black. Like I grew up Black. Like my mom is white, but she's not the average white woman. So it was hard at times, knowing who to talk to, who to fit in, not to do this, not to do that. So I kind of just created my own lane. I made sure I was nice to everyone. I didn't pick and choose because of someone's skin tone. Because in Kansas, when I'm growing up, I grew up near an Army base. So I was going to school with kids who were Asian and Black and Hawaiian and Laotian and all that. So it wasn't colored there. So transferring to Tennessee in middle school, I got bullied in 7th grade. No one really knows that. If you see me now, I'm 5'10" and 160. So I got bullied 7th grade. I had moved back. I'm technically the new girl, but not the new girl. And these girls had did this weird thing on the phone. I don't know. It's so long ago, but I just had to separate myself. I've always been like, I won't say a loner, but I always created my own lane for myself just because that's what I've been used to, being a mixed child growing up in the South. You really you have to find your own placement. And that's kind of find my own way going into high school, college. That's how I dealt with it.
In society too, it's just like, my brother passed away several years ago, and his kids are mixed. And so, we always felt like, how are they going to know who exactly they are? My brother's not there. The mom doesn't want us around, all this kind of craziness. And so no matter what, just be like, because you're mixed, right? Because you have just a little bit of Black, you know what I'm saying? If you just had this much Black, you Black. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't look at someone like, okay, I mean, they don't look at, oh, that person's 50%, they look at like, oh, she Black. Like if you got even a tad bit of Black in you, that you're considered as Black. And so, and that's just how society, we are the ones that know more of a background and say, well, nobody's 100% Black, but if you have a little bit in it, you Black. And if you have, if you're not white, then you're not white. So it's like, it was always how we always put those, and so I always struggled with, I wonder what she's teaching my niece and nephew, because they're in a very country white area where, the Black folks out there are, I'm saying, probably not representing as our community as we wanted to. So it's like they're going to be in that situation where they're going to have to eventually see, I look a little different than everybody else. And so how did you find, because I know that you feel like, okay, I just create my own space. At what moment did you have a conversation with somebody, or did you just decide? I guess I'm just trying to figure out, like, when you went into that to make that decision on, what, I'm just going to create my own space. Was it someone saying, like, just create your own space, or you just really felt like how did you go about finding the strength to do that? Because I know, like, I didn't really find the strength to do certain things until I got older. The only way I found strength, like in middle school or high school, was by being mean. So people always thought, like, you know what I'm saying? She's strong, but I was really just mean. But the meanness for me was just, if I can keep people away, I didn't have to deal with being just mad, or, you know what I'm saying? So it was always just like, if they knew me by track. But I wasn't like I'm trying to hang out with Sherelle because she's fun. Like, I wasn't that girl. You know what I'm saying? So how did you make that transition?
Honestly, my mom got treated differently because she only dated Black men. So they wouldn't let her do certain things, play sports and all of that. So my mom created her own individual lane. So she always taught us how to be our own individual person and not care what everyone has to say, because they're going to talk about you whether you're doing good or bad. And my mom never was like, oh, you're white or you're Black. She would, if we filling paperwork out and it said other, she put other, Black and white. She never wanted us to lose who we were. I knew my Black side and I knew my white side. So my mom, she's a character. That's who you need to talk to.
Bring mama to the front stage.
My mom, she really helped me with that stuff, because I used to get called half-breed and all that. People don't realize what that might do to someone younger, but I guess just how I was raised, just to have a different mindset. Now I'm probably more self-criticize myself than somebody else does. Finding who you are and then getting in tune with yourself. But I just, I never thought of it, but I guess I just really just never paid attention to what people had to say about me, just because they were always going to say something. So,
and did you feel like you had to work harder when it came to athletics? Because it was like, she can't really ball, like, or was it like you was already very competitive coming in?
No, I had to learn to. When I played against my brothers, I was more competitive than when I played against girls, and I never knew why until, I guess that's just me overthinking myself. But I can say a time where people were treating me differently because I was putting myself in a position to win for my future. So I got treated a little different when I started really taking basketball serious, and I got placed on an AAU team, and I was traveling and I was doing all of this. That's when people started treating me more different as I got older.
Yeah, I mean, you're hitting on some like real important stuff, and I kind of want to rewind a little bit. First, go back to how you had the struggles. Like, you had the struggles coming up because you were biracial. You had that whole identity issue where, even if you had it together on the inside, you had opposite sides pulling you, saying certain things about you. A lot of people will look at where you are today, look at at least the perceived confidence, the perceived she got it all going on, and assume like life is easy for her. Like, it's like,
I wish.
I know, right? So I think it's really important to highlight that, because so many people will see where you are today, and they will discredit themselves because where you are today, they feel they can never get to because their past was so difficult. So I think that's like a really important point for us to continue to drive home, and kind of on a similar level is that importance of really respecting and internalizing both sides of your heritage. My children are biracial. And we did the same thing on like, I don't like from the very beginning, like, no, we're not marking those. We're going to hit other and we're going to write in everything. We had to write it in. And they would come, we're going to mark. No, you're not going to mark that. That's not my child. So I really admire that in you. And it's one of those things that we have to, as parents of biracial kids, is really force them to embrace both and not feel like they have to choose. And I love that your parents didn't make you feel like you had to choose.
Well, my dad's side is not fully Black either. Like, they're so mixed up. They look white all the way to super dark. So like our family reunion, you'd be like, oh, that's my cousin. Like, oh, okay. Like, so it was really cool. Just even both sides. So yeah, I like that. I like that you do that too. I didn't like being in a box when I was younger, and I still don't. So
exactly. And that's
so,
it, man.
When you go into, now that you're going into, college, what was your major in college? What was your experiences like, being a part of an athletic team in college? And then just kind of give us that experience there. Like, what'd you major in? And then
I majored in psychology. My bachelor's in psychology. My first year, I went to LaSalle University in Philly. I went from Tennessee all the way to Philly. They called me Big Country on campus because that's how I was. And then December, I had actually transferred. My grandmother had a heart attack and she was in a coma. So I transferred to Kentucky Wesleyan and I finished out my career there. So college was amazing. I had a great time in college. I'm happy I did transfer due to my coaches. I was blessed. So both AAU and college, my coaches were married. So I got to experience a more of a familyist establishment at D2, Kentucky Wesleyan's at D2. So it was more family oriented. And we also worked on things that would help us outside of basketball to help our future. So we did SMART goals. We had to read. At that time, it was stupid to us. But like when I look back, I'm like, oh, wow, they prepared me to go ahead and slowly set myself up for the future. It was rough in college because I worked too my junior and senior year in college. Because I was like, I need more stuff. I don't want to ask my parents. They already got everything going on. I'm at work. So just dealing with work, school, and basketball all full time. It got hard at times, but I just roll with the punches. I learned in college, I lived in the moment more and I didn't have anxiety. When I got out of college, that's when real life situations you have to face because you're transitioning to another level. Yeah. College was fun though. I had a great experience in college. I really took on with the sports psychology. My coaches were big on that. They did sports athletic training. They used to work out with us. So it was a different circumstance at D2 than D1. Yeah. So it was very different, but I enjoyed it. I still talk to my coaches today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That relationship is always important. I mean, when I went to New Mexico State. And so when I got a scholarship running there, I was just like, wow, but I was just like you, I was on a full ride, but then it was like, this ain't enough money. I mean, I don't know what I was trying to get, but I just knew it wasn't enough. So I had already started working since I was 14. So my parents used to get so upset at me, like, why are you working at a young age? I was just like, because one, I don't want to ask my mom because her favorite word was no. So, if I asked my dad, he'd be like, go ask your mom. And I knew the answer was going to be no. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start getting my own money. And so that way I can do my own thing. And so since I was 14, I was buying my own clothes and buying my parents. And so I almost lived as if I was in poverty, but I wasn't. I was just always like, I wanted to have my own money. So you from the outside, you would think like, oh, her parents must be struggling. Like she's out here like really working. But they weren't. Like I could have just asked. the guy, but I just wanted myself. And
Mhm.
so I'm the same way when it comes to that. When you talk about your relationship with your coaches, I was that same type of coach when I went into when I had my own team. My team was predominantly Black. It was probably 90, maybe 90%, about 85% Black, about 10% Hispanic, and then the other five, we had like maybe one white girl, you know. And so my conversation was always, I want to give to them what I feel like I didn't get or what I feel like is an issue. So my conversations was always, when study hall came in there, it wasn't a turn up in study hall with me. I was putting some on the board, like, I put hunching on there. I don't even know I spelled it right. And they were like, what's hunching? I was like, when you're doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing, you try to act like you're doing it. They were like, what's she talking about? And it's like, oh, what I'm talking about. Because if I catch one of y'all on the side of portables,
Yep.
but it was always like, I had to have these relevant conversations with them. Sometimes the word would be life. Sometimes it would be, womanhood, whatever it was. I had these constant conversations. And so every day I was finding myself, because at the time, my assistant coaches were white. So they couldn't understand why my conversation wasn't about track.
Yeah.
They were like, she's talking about everything but track.
Mhm.
And so my mentality was, if I can teach them about life, I can coach them about track,
Oh yeah.
period. So to this day, all my girls still be like, Mom, coach, and
Yes.
they're grown with a whole family.
And
So
it allows the player to become coachable.
exactly. You have to build those relationships. So I'm so glad that when you talk about, and I was even watching this week, The Last Chance U, and just how passionate that coach was about, his kids making it.
Yeah.
So how, when you talk about that relationship with them, now you have the dynamics that you have a structure at home, and then you had structure, on the court, because a lot of athletes now don't have both.
Nope.
They have coaches on them, parents aren't supportive,
Mhm.
or parents are super supportive, coach don't give a damn, you just showing up.
Yep.
So, a lot of these students are always battling on which side should I take. And of course, when they're young, they're gonna take the easiest one. Who can I get away with most with
Yep.
stuff?
Yep.
So talk about that relationship with your coaches, and now moving on into your adulthood, the importance of having that relationship with them, and what it does for you now as an adult.
So all my coaches, even from high school to AAU to college, I still have a relationship with them. And one thing they always did was hold me accountable. To the point they held me accountable, and they knew how to approach me with certain things, to where I guess I was the mentally tough one on the team always. So if someone else did something, they could yell at me, and I'd be like, okay, we're gonna fix this. Da, da, da. So just having that relationship and that foundation, just starting young to carry on, it did help me even outside, because I always wanted more for myself. Okay, like I did high school ball, got records and stuff. Okay, now we're gonna go to college, or AAU, boom, did this. Now I'm gonna college. Okay, so now what's next? So I just always just had that motivation. And then if I do come to a stump, I still reach out to them like, hey, I need this, and this, or if this, and this is going on, what should I do?
Yeah.
And I just allowed myself to grow as a person, not an athlete. Because once I was done with basketball, I was training to go overseas, but I've been playing basketball my whole life. I was already away for so many years, and then I wanted to know what else I was good at. So
Yeah.
I was good when it came to basketball and the foundation and the motivation, and let me work out. If I can say this, if I had 5 times as much as the work ethic I have now in college, I probably would be overseas. I can't say that. I have a different work ethic now, because
Yeah.
I'm working towards something else.
Yeah.
Basketball was always that safety net, but when it's over, what else do you have?
Yeah.
So that's what me moving to Houston allowed me to find who I was as T Essence, and not the basketball player T Essence.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think so much of, you're talented. You are a good, basketball player. A lot of times when we're younger, we take these things for granted. Like, I'm always going to be good. Like, this always going to be here for me. But then when we hit adulthood and it's not there for us, we realize, you know what, I actually got to bust my tail to make this happen. And we grow a different level of of self accountability, and that's one of the things that I feel makes great parents is to not hit a pinnacle, so to say, or not make it to the pinnacle, and be able to be that example for your kids of look, like I could have went here, but I did this. I slacked here, I slacked there. But then at the same time, making sure that you don't force them to, you don't live vicariously through them, because I was kind of hoping to do that with my son, but not an athletic bone in his body. So I'm kind of leaning into my daughter. She's a little athlete, but
be the baller.
I know, right? I'm gonna have to send her to Houston so you and Sherelle can teach her up. But
she was like, I want to go out to my daddy. You're not going anywhere. You're gonna stay here.
Give me 50 burpees.
Man, I'm telling you, man. But I just it seems, and that's one of the things that we really like to pour or expose through this this platform, because there's not a lot of parents out there who set a foundation for their kids the way your parents did. So you're an example of the product of. Yeah. So it should inspire more of us to be those types of parents, to really, make sure that your child embraces all that he or she can be, and you just be supportive of them. And it seems like your parents did a dang good job.
Yeah, they're pretty. My brothers too. My brothers helped a lot. Because I went to college visits with my brother before me. He was really good in sports. He just happened to take a little left turn instead of going straight. So seeing him in 9th grade, going to see Vandy and UT, and I'm like on the college visits, I'm like, oh, this what they do? Like, oh, okay, cool. Like I can get used to this. So just doing that and just being around like my AAU coaches, they would let us play against the MTSU girls. Like we're scrimmaging against Alicia Clark and all of these girls who's in the WNBA or going overseas. So just having conversations with them and just seeing like, man, like I can make it out. I can do this. Like, and just seeing how improvement every year, like that was addictive to me. Like, okay, I'm improving as a player. So I kind of took what I was doing in basketball to life. Like, okay, if I know I can improve in basketball and sports, if I take that same method and that same system to life, what can I do?
Yeah.
And I do life. I always tell people life is about systems and strategy. How are you do this to do that? And that's how I motivate myself. Like, okay, man, I just did this. I went to school for 4 years and did this. I know I can do this for 2 months and be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a different station.
It is. And I want you to touch on what made you, what was it about athletics that made you want to do sports psychology? And then the second thing is, when you talked about making that transition, we were both very competitive, and we looked at our life like that. So I was the same way. I was like, damn, I finished my bachelor's like this. So then it was like, but I knew if I took a break, I wasn't going to finish my master's. So I went right back and started, you know what I'm saying? So I always, and then it was like, damn, I might as well just get my doctorate. Like, shit, I might as well, so it just kept going and going and going and going. But what I didn't realize until after my brother passed away and I started to see a counselor, because I was grieving or is grieving. And one thing that she told me that just blew my mind was you can't define, I don't know her exact words, but you can't measure your happiness no longer with your accomplishments, right? And so I was like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Because I was always taught, with us thinking, you work harder, you get good results. You push your ass in the weight room, you can ball on the court. If if you ran harder, you're gonna be competitive out there on the track. So you're taught that if you do these right things, these are the results. And yes, that works in sports, right? You bust your ass, you're gonna probably do very well. But life is not so much like that, right? So I started feeling like I'm really working hard as hell, you know what I'm saying, to be the best woman, not to be the stereotypical Black woman, not being loud, not being this, not being that, trying to be all these things that people say we are. And it was like, why am I not where I feel like I should be, right? Because we're taught in our minds as, competitors, because she would always tell me, I think the first question she asked me was, when you think about life, what do you think about? I said, winning. Right.
That's such a you answer.
It was like, winning what? You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you're talking to someone who is not in athletics, and like her profession is to be a counselor, right? So she's like, okay, so explain to me what do you mean by winning? I was like, winning. She was like, but winning what? And what does winning look like? And I couldn't really describe. I was like, well, it's like, where I'm happy, like I'm in a good place. She's like, so what does winning in your life look like? I was like, well, I would love to have a family and get married and have a career and do the things that I want to do. She goes, so that's winning. I said, that would be winning to me, And so she said, so you think once you get that, you'll be good? And I was like, probably not. I probably would want something else. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, you just don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, why do I have to stop? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who said I have to put this? So I always struggled with always accomplishing things and just kept always putting more things up there,
right,
and not ever getting to a place of. So my first question to you was why you got into sports psychology. And then my second was, do you ever feel like that same challenge of like you wanting more? Like, what has that experience been like for you when it comes to working hard and getting results in basketball, and then working hard and maybe and then not really moving and transitioning into your life? So what does that look like?
I got into sports psychology. I wanted to do that when I first got to school. I wanted to do sports psychology. They just don't offer it at any college except for masters. So I got into it because I was injured my freshman year. Actually, my senior year in high school, I played on a pulled hamstring all year. So when I got to college, I was always doing rehab. So it takes a mental point on you where you're like, I know I can do this, but I can't. Physically, I can't do it. And then I had injured my knee my junior year. I hyperextended it really bad, almost tore my PCL. So I was in rehab a lot in college, and mentally it takes a toll on you. And then I had a lot of teammates who was injured, and we had an outlet, but we didn't have an outlet. So that was one reason, I wanted to help athletes mentally during sports and when they retire, because that retire mental is different than when you're playing, you're active, because you're still playing. When you have to transition to a regular person and you don't know what to do, you don't have a schedule you're used to being on and this and that, it really takes a toll on you. So that was one reason I wanted to get back into it. But I stopped school for like six years. I didn't go back till the beginning of 2020. And I really got into it because of training when I started my fitness company. Because I'd say I'm a mental coach because I work on your mental first, and then your physical comes, because your mind is the strongest muscle in your body. Your mind tells everything to move. So if your mind's telling you, no, you can't do this, you're not going to be healthy, you're going to be injured, you're going to listen to that. So and then finding my spiritual journey, I found how at one point, like my low point, I didn't have anything. Like I had no job, no nothing at one point. And a lot of people don't know this. I was waitressing and I was in nightlife for a while. And I was one of the top waitresses who always worked for myself. And it got to the point where I was like, I need something else. Like I need something more. This is not exciting me anymore. This is boring. I'm doing the same thing over. And I'm like, okay, so what do I want to do with my life? And I had to mentally pick myself up off the ground. So I was like, if I can mentally take myself from my rock bottom and slowly progress and move up and do this, what can I do with someone else? So I just started putting the sports psychology and my fitness together. And then I had a talk with Miss Corinne. And she was like, why don't you go back for your master's? You don't have any kids, you're training. Why not? She's like, I'm getting my doctorates. You can get your master's. And I applied that day. So
nice.
I've always been, okay, if I'm going to do it, I need to put my mind to it, and I'm going to focus on that. So I love helping people. I love helping people who see their potential and like see who they are. And I want to focus on the holistic side of sports psychology, the inner athlete. What else are you good at? Because that's what I had to figure out. What else was I good at? So I basically did a live experiment on myself without doing it, without knowing. So after I was done with basketball, I was like, what am I about to do? Like, I try to work a regular job. I hate corporate life. Not me. I waitress, I did insurance, I taught. So I was like, I know I'm good at these things, but it's not me. So
Man.
me helping people, that's my thing. I don't know how I can literally look at somebody like, you okay? You good? And they'll just tell me their whole life story and have a session there. And I'm like, all right, here's my card if you need me. Like, I just love helping people and just seeing what else they have in them, because a lot of people never had that growing up, or like we talked about the foundation to be like, oh, wow, I can do that. Like, damn, I do have talent. I can turn this into a business. So I really like to see that. Like, if I see someone's passion, I can say in my head, like, hey, you can do this, this, and this, and you can make your passion money. So I don't know. I just have a little niche for the mind. I love the mind.
And I see, I'm seeing so many different parallels. The psychology being the background for one. I graduated 2012 after taking like a 3-year hiatus in the middle. Graduated 2012 with a degree in psychology and a degree in Spanish. And I moved down to Miami. And every job that I had ever gotten, all through school before I graduated and everything, I would be promoted to some level, like super quick. So I got down there. I did life insurance. I sucked at it though. But I right after that, we were opening a brand new Chipotle in Coral Gables, and I got promoted to kitchen manager in training. Like that, I started doing valet parking, and I was like just killing it. And whenever I finally got a position in my career field, and I told everybody I was leaving, like, you're leaving, but you're like the best person here. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean I want to stay here. And then even I got into my career field. I loved the work that I was doing. Absolutely. I was a foster parent support specialist. So I would go out and help foster parents, keep the kids in their homes and such and get them trained up. Absolutely loved it. Before I left that place, I was helping run 4 different departments. And whenever they heard I was leaving, you're leaving? Like, we're going to fall apart without you, because they saw how much I poured into it. And throughout that entire time, I was kind of familiarizing myself with the entrepreneurship space. Mm-hmm. So upon leaving, I'm like, I don't feel fulfilled here. There's something more I'm meant to be doing. So I took my little experience in the entrepreneurship space and that desire to give, social good, to go out and impact lives. And that's when I created my own company. I'm like, look, I want to be able to see the vision and surround myself with people who see that similar vision and help them realize at the same time, you don't have to stay where you are. You can actually put together that degree that you got. Yes, you can still use it. You don't have to get a traditional job, but you can still use it and go and do what it is that you desire to do. And I see you doing that. And man, it's so inspiring.
It took a minute. It took a lot of long nights and like, shit, what am I about to do? And so it's just, and to like piggyback off your second question you asked, I had to learn how to live in the moment and find my own peace without materialistic things, because we really have everything we need right in front of us. We just want more. I had to figure that out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always tell people that I just started. I mean, I have to have a constant conversation with my own mind when I'm placed in and say, be very present. Yeah. And just to be very, brief, all 4 years of my college years, I don't remember anything. Yeah. But running. That's it. I don't remember any relationships I have with my teammates. I don't remember anything. And I didn't realize that until I went to the reunion, which I wasn't going to go to, because, if you don't really remember any relationship, you're not thinking you have any. You're like, I don't have a relationship with them. Like, why would I go to the reunion, right? But then my ego popped in, like, you got to go because they probably expecting you not to go, right? Like, I'm not about to do what they think I'm about to do.
Right.
So it was so crazy to walk into that hotel. I'm nervous because I'm like, damn, like, Like, I don't even know if they really even like me. Yeah, I don't know, because I don't remember anything. You know what I'm saying?
Questions run through your head.
I just remember running. And they was like, Sherelle is here. And they all started crying. I was like, what the fuck? What happened?
Yeah.
But then, again, nobody expected me to come because, you know what I'm saying? They continued their college relationships, going to each other's weddings. I mean, I pretty much graduated, was like, the experience was nice. I'll see you guys later. You know what I'm saying? Not really knowing how important relationships are, you know, with people. And it wasn't anything intentional. It was just, at the time I was thinking, you know,
like you forget
I just go on and I move on, and it was great, and that's it. And so to see them crying, because they were just like, I bought you, you know, I have your book here in my bag, just hoping that you can sign it for me, you know, like stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God. So I really had to go back and try to, we did like a PowerPoint, like they were showing all these pictures at us at parties and walking to Whataburger. We almost got hit and all kinds of stuff. I didn't remember any of those things until I saw the pictures, and I was like, I don't remember going there. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, wow, I really wasn't present. Like mentally, I was so engaged in what I was trying to get to, or the next thing I'm trying to get to. So as an adult, I had to learn, and I'm still learning. Like, when you're on the podcast, think about the podcast.
Oh my God.
But not some other shit. So it's hard. The constant. Yes, it's like I be having like an argument, you know, in my head.
I have like 7 conversations. I'll be like, okay, now I need to do this, and I have to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. Oh, I forgot about this.
The crazy thing is, I was always productive in everything that I did. So when people was like, wow, you must have always been focused. But if they knew that I really was doing like 29 things, like in my own head. And then so my counselor had said, imagine if you focused on that one thing. You know, and I was like, one thing?
Yeah.
So how do you make yourself stay very present?
I meditate a lot. I went through a phase. Let's see, 2017 was not my best year. I went through a lot of shit in 2017. That's where I kind of started my spiritual journey. So for me to help balance, I listen to like chakra music, frequency music. I write a lot. I journal a lot. I probably have notebooks in like so many places in my house because I like to write. So when I'm overthinking, or if I'm like this week, I'm a little stressed because it's my last day in class tomorrow. So I just have to write notes, or I got sticky notes everywhere, like literally. So, and I set reminders on my phone. So for me, when I had to stop working 35,000 jobs and just focus on Fit to the T. And T-Essence. I had to focus on my mental state and my physical state in order to bring that to my business. So it was 2018, I got my business officially registered, my LLC and all of that. I didn't really like go full on training until September of 2018. And I was still in and out of nightlife. What was it? Labor Day weekend of 2019, I completely stopped. And when I did that, and I put all my energy into Fit to the T, even though I'm juggling a couple different things, it does help because I'm not running around the city trying to help everyone else's business when I'm focused on mine.
Yeah.
And then I had to put a routine together. I had to literally go back to like high school, college days and make me a schedule. That's what Miss Corinne helped me do. She helped me put a schedule intact. So like if I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning, I'm training by 5:30. And any break I have, I'm either getting my admin work done, I'm doing Fit to the T stuff, I'm doing homework. So I had for myself, I had to take it back to, okay, what was I getting my best work done at? It's me being on a schedule. Athletes, we are used to being on a schedule, whether whether our coach is telling us or that piece of paper is telling us. So I had to do it like I'm in college. I really feel like I did a time loop, and instead of basketball, it's my business. It's taking. So I wake up at between 4 and 4:30. I get to the gym at 5:30. And then in between that, clients and all that, I'm either calling, making sure everything is good, talking to my business manager, or doing homework. Like I literally have to put myself on a schedule. And then if I'm feeling stressed, I start playing my chakra music, my Zen music. I just had to find what works for me, and everyone's different. So I just tell people, find what works for you, because I have to write. If I'm overthinking and I'm going crazy, I have to write down everything, every thought in my head until I'm like, okay, cool. I feel good.
Yeah.
It's just a process, because at first I was like, I thought I was going crazy. I was having anxiety. Then you start having depression. You don't know where to go. You don't know your next step. You're thinking about 20 years down the line when you can barely think 20 minutes on what you're doing. So I had to slow down and figure out, what did I want in that moment in time? What am I trying to accomplish right now instead of 20 years from now?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's like the same way. I remember having a conversation with three of us. It was you and Corinne, and we were like, it was just a good moment to everybody to kind of say, this is what I'm struggling with. This is my challenge. And so, we all walked away from that, I believe, seeing a different side of each other, outside of being in the gym. Because people are like that too. You're really good at training. You should do it full time. It's like, but no, I don't. That's not what I want to do. So a lot of times people push all that. Right. They push you towards what they think that you're good at. And you have to really be bold enough in your own life to say, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to do. So I slowly stepped away from a lot of this stuff because I needed to focus on graduating, and what else I was going to do after that. I said, the gym is always going to be there. I can always work out. So when you talked about your schedule, that was one thing that I had to also do, is put together a schedule for myself, but I had to even put myself in my own schedule, playing time, meditation time, or, put my own self on there. Because I was like you, just always constantly taking care of other people and never myself. So talk more about your business, where people can go to find your business, what events, anything that you have coming up, so that we can make sure that people can continue to support you.
Okay. My Instagram for my business is Fit to the T LLC. I literally came up with the name on FaceTime, and I was thinking of things that would T, and my homegirl was like, Fit to the T, like literally Fit to the T. So Fit to the T LLC is my Instagram. FitToTheTLLC.com is my website. They can subscribe to my website, and I send out emails, and you might get a lucky, who knows, a coupon, a free trip. I'm about to do a lot of different things. I have a core team that I work with. I have a core team that is everything. I can't wait to slowly, start doing stuff. I've created like a small community of women who are all individuals, and I call them the Fit Diamonds. So diamonds come in all shapes and sizes, and girls love diamonds. And I have different ranges from college to older women to people with kids, people with no kids. So in all of my clients, they somehow fit into my future with my business, what I'm going to take it to do. So eventually I'm going to Fit to the T. I do want my own facility, however, but it's going to be different because I'm incorporating my psychology in there. So when that time comes, I'll be sure to get with you guys on that. But I just wanted to create an atmosphere for fitness that was different, where people can come get mentally tougher and stronger and physically stronger, and just be able to come in the gym and just be themselves and not have to worry about any of the, the gym stereotypes and all of that. So
gym drama.
And all that. I just wanted to create an atmosphere where women would come work out, feel like themselves, empower each other. And so Fit to the T, I started in 2018. In June, it'll be three full years. I'm working on a nonprofit with Fit to the T. So I just want to be able to bring Fit to the T to communities to help those who can't afford training or mental health or stretching, the things that we need on an essential basis that everyone charges an arm and a leg for now, when we've been doing it for years. So I just want to help for the community and be able to take it back to my hometown and open a facility to help those who can't help themselves. I like to help others heal themselves.
Yeah.
So.
Man, I love it, man. You got me feeling like I just want to follow in your footsteps. We started our business legally in the same year, 2018. I got my LLC started, and just looking at how you're combining your psychology background with, with your physical gift. And I think so many more people. I coach people in the business space on a regular basis, and they're out here trying to talk about all these external goals. No, you need to fix the inside first. Mm-hmm. Fix the inside first, and the external will take care of itself. So I admire what you're doing. I'm definitely going to be continuing to follow you, push your content out there. Man, I try not to dig too deep.
Oh, you can dig
good. No, I'm talking about like before we have the guest on. I try not to dig too deep because I want to learn more. And you definitely, shared a lot that it makes me want to just really not only support you, but put you in front of other young women to show what possibilities are.
Yeah, I love doing that. Even in college, we would partner with some of the the troubled teens, the juveniles, and that, and talk to them and all that. So I love doing that because I'm gonna talk to them real. It ain't no sugarcoating. Because that's the one thing I was blessed to have. My parents, they didn't sugarcoat anything.
Mine either. Yeah.
They did not sugarcoat anything, and they let me figure out life. I would ask them questions, but they let me figure it out. And my dad always tells me, keep going to the home plate, bound to hit a home run, keep swinging. So when I'm getting down, I'll be like, let me just keep swinging. Let me just keep going. I know I'm tired. Let me finish this real quick. Mm-hmm. So, and I also have products. I have booty bands, jump ropes, waist trainers, core sliders. And so I'm working on the Fit to the T website being a one-stop shop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You got some stuff for men on there?
Yeah, you can do jump rope and the waist trainers, I don't have any more black. Usually the guys get black, but I'm actually revamping some things. So when this batch is gone, this is the original Fit to the T design, but then we're dropping something else.
Well, I need to stay tuned, huh?
Yes, stay tuned. I have a lot of stuff.
Now he's gonna go do pull-ups. Like every time we have someone that talks about fitness, I'll be like, I'm trying to close out with him. I'll be like, okay, AB, I'm gonna knock out these pull-ups real quick. I'm
trying to get like y'all.
Right? Oh my God, why are you going to work out right now? We're trying to do something.
Right.
It has definitely been a blessing.
One more set.
Yeah,
just one more.
Hurry up, because I'm trying to tell you something.
Right.
So, it's just definitely been a blessing to, collaborate with him because we had different stories, but similar interests and passion. Yeah. And so, that's hard sometimes in the Black community to really partner up and do things right, where there's no, hidden agendas and there's no self motives and all this stuff, so it's definitely been a blessing to be partners with him. But to you are amazing. I love everything about you. I love all your imperfections. I love your perfections. And so I'm just excited about the things that you're going to do in your life. And I feel like you just haven't even touched the surface of it. And so I'm just going to be ready. So when I'm calling for my ticket, wherever,
pack your bags.
I'm on the door. I'm going to be like,
pack your bags. I want to say thank you for motivating me, because it's not a lot of women that I come from and seeing that actually are in the position you're in. So you help motivate me as well, because after my master's, I want to go get my doctorates. So next time y'all put my name on here, it'll be Dr. T. Phelps.
Next time, show will.
I'm just Dr. T. Phelps on
there. I'm gonna have to see if I can beat you to
it. All right. Well, the loser has to do burpees.
A whole bunch of them. How long
it take you?
Yep. I respect that.
I really appreciate you guys inviting me. I haven't done a podcast in a while, so this was great. I love it. So I appreciate you guys. And I will be following all your podcasts because this is really dope. I love this. It's genuine talk. I like it.
Yeah. And once we get it put in the actual podcast form, we're going to let everybody know so we can get the right build up and throw it out there to the world.
Spotify, but right now it is on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and also Instagram Live. But we are going to be on iTunes and also Spotify. And there was another one that we Google something.
Google
Podcast.
Google Podcast. Okay, that's
So,
dope. That's good.
So we love you, and we are so excited about all that you're doing, and we will continue to support you and all our guests. Make sure you please go on and to her website or her Instagram, and you will find her everywhere. So if you need help with, your meals, your food, your mental, all of the above, you got one place that you can go, and she offers a lot of training, a lot of mental sessions and stuff like that. So please make sure that you are looking up her information and that you are following her and supporting her and what she's doing. Because we know that in the Black community, it's important that we support one another with no motives, just supporting because we want to see somebody be great. And I know the higher she goes, the higher I'll go, because that's what we do.
Yep.
So we want you to support Fit to the T. We love you.
Thank
Continue to I know she's about to go bust somebody right now, probably at 5:30.
Oh, they got 20 minutes.
And then you're gonna be in there like it's 5:30.
Yep.
So we're excited, and thank you again for accepting the invite to be on the B.L.A.C.K podcast.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, another great guest. So I'm, like always, excited that she decided to come on, and she is amazing. So make sure you go out and you check out what she's doing. And how do I get off my live on Instagram? I don't even know how to do it. In now, are you sure you want to?
Just close the app.
Oh, okay. Look, I'm like old over here. I'm like, well, I can't get off this phone. But thank y'all for coming in and supporting us. Like I said before, it's important that in our Black community that we are supporting one another, that there's no motives behind what we're doing. We're not trying to get something out of the next person. All we're trying to get is knowledge and make relevant connections and relationships. So please make sure that you are sharing these videos, sharing the podcast with your family, with your community, so we can continue to grow as a group. But Fit to the T got some great things. I don't even think she's 30 yet. So she's definitely making some major moves. So please make sure that you continue to watch her grow, because it may motivate or inspire you. And so I hope through our social media and the things that we're doing here on the B.L.A.C.K podcast, also with HSBA, that you find motivation in your own life and inspiring. So if you ever want any to help out and be a blessing to our organization, Brian, if you could put up there our website to HSBA, that way people can really know we're looking for sponsorships, we're looking for partnerships, we're looking for monetary donations. We also want you to subscribe to our newsletter that we bring out every month. It's important stuff on there, and there's so many things that you can do and you can help to be a blessing and be productive in our community. So please make sure that you're not just tuning in and watching us here live, but you're also sharing the content with your social media platform.
Yeah, what she said. Another week, another gym. This was, I just love Thursdays. Thursdays are always crazy busy, but we get to have these wonderful interactions, and we get to bring people in front of you that shows you the potentials that you have, that your children have, that anyone that in our community that feels like there's no opportunities out there for me. Share these videos with them, share our channel with them, because all you have to do is find someone that looks like you, that we show you here that they've had a similar background and they still out here getting it. So thank you all for watching. Same time, same place next week, guys. Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you when we see you. Y'all take care.